Mr. Jackson. Now, normally I like keeping in the struggle of connecting because it's really funny that some of these famous people don't really know how to start a Zoom call or, in our case, just a video interview. But in your case, I mean, that was appalling. I mean, that would no, that's just embarrassing. I'll leave that out for the sake of your honor.
Well, it's not my fault my computer crashed. So this is our rugby video for the week 2.0. All the amazing stuff. And I mean, it was the most insightful conversation we had before the computer crashed. And that's all lost now. And you'll never get it back. Lost for all eternity, I'm sure.
They didn't come here to listen. They came to look at my Minty Phrase outfit. Look at it. And my checker
Oh my
sock.
God. All that's changed is the sizes keep growing.
Well, you don't let me stand up because I sickle. My
That
wife needs to help me get it off because it's just, yeah.
it's probably better just to paint the shirts on these days. Because I feel like a teenage boy. I keep growing in sizes so regularly. But instead of getting longer, I'm just getting wider. But anyway, we're here to talk about the rugby this weekend.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
we we didn't speak about the New Zealand game. We don't. We're not those people who just get on the bandwagon when we win and go cheer yay. We spoke about the rugby the weekend before when we lost. So I hope we
Sorry,
don't set a precedent here.
sorry. What's the time? Oh, it's 10:43. Sorry, just for
Oh my God,
Okay, I'll
that
stop.
was that was one of the most dominant displays I've seen in probably the full game we played at Twickenham against New Zealand, where we won 35-7. We basically dominated that game from start to finish. That was probably even more dominant than this game, if you take it as a whole, because we struggled in the first half. New Zealand hold their own, and we were behind at halftime.
Now,
And
just before we move on from that specific topic, I know you questioned the lock combination for that game, and I actually commented on that, and it was funny how many people jumped in on the comments online, totally having a go at Rassi for being stupid and all those kind of things. I wonder what they have to say now.
well, if you talk about the lock specifically, it wasn't actually his combination that won the game. Because Lewis only lasted a few minutes, and then
True.
Arceus Neyman came on and had a blinder. I mean, I don't know how many teams can recover losing so many key positions. We had a lock go off early. We had our fullback go off for the whole match. When Fassi got injured, it was still early in the game. It was in the
Yeah.
first half. We had to restructure everything. Reinach went off for a concussion test. Um, so Williams was on briefly at 9. Then he came on back later on wing. A lot of reshuffling happening. They swapped a hooker to the other wing. So lots of changes happening. And we lost our fly off, early, which I mean, most teams would just implode when all of those injuries happen, and yet we just kind of rallied, and I think Marnie had his best ever game in the green jersey.
Yes, but I'm going to stick to what I said. Consistency is key. He's uh, he's like a Samsung Galaxy S21. You never know when it's going to explode.
It's true. I call him bipolar, up and down roller coaster player. But when he's on top, I mean, he's a hell of a player to watch. And if
Oh
you
yes.
think that game we won at Twickenham, I think he also played a big role in that. So, I mean, you'd have to go back to the mid 80s. As a kid, I used to watch when the Cavaliers came into it. Yeah, that's the last time I saw a backline dominate New Zealand like we did 2 weeks ago. But I mean, that's kind of in the past now. We've got to look forward to
Yes.
the two games tomorrow. We've got a big Bledisloe Cup and Rugby Championship game. Uh, Australia is going to play at Eden Park. 2 weeks ago, we narrowly lost against New Zealand. So they keep that record of 30 years or 40 years, 50 odd games still going.
I'm
I
looking
hope
forward to that game.
Australia ends that.
I'm, I'm
I really
honest,
hope they do.
I'm honestly looking forward to that game, and I'm quite excited to see what it's doing for rugby in the AFL states. Like, so I'm in WA. WA is an AFL state. Yes, rugby is doing all right, rugby union, but the more Australia win, the more money the government's going to throw at it. And hopefully we can get more rugby in schools, because that's one thing where rugby is not that prominent, is in schools. And then obviously in Victoria, where you need to go and hunt for union clubs, because you just they're not, people don't play rugby, they play AFL. But do you think that this massive win against New Zealand last week is going to make the Boks a little bit overconfident for this coming game tomorrow?
No, I don't think so because we have history against Argentina where for the first 100 years or 90 years of our history, we beat them every time. You have to go back maybe a draw in the 70s, 80s with Hugo Porta was still playing. But recently, we've lost to them a few times, including last year.
Yeah,
We lost to them in Argentina. I think it's that Stadio Al Estio or Estro or whatever. We won the game the week after or 2 weeks after we won and won the Rugby Championships that way by beating Argentina. But last year was the first time they beat New Zealand, South Africa, and Argentina in 1 year. Then this year they could do the same if they take one of these games. They've now beaten New Zealand, and then the next game, they beat Australia this last game. So they've done really well already this year. You throw in a win against the British and Irish Lions. They've had a phenomenal season, and they have a great team. There's no way South Africa will underestimate them.
yeah,
We might prepare in the wrong way, but if that first loss, that shock loss to Argentina has showed us in our game plan, the big flaw is if you fling it out wide, this new Tony ball everybody's talking about, it comes with big risks. If you fling out the ball side to side, you're going to run out of supporters to clear the ruck. And
yeah,
that's what Australia exposed. They have a very good loose trio. Fraser McWright's one of my favorite flankers at the moment. Great over the ball on defense, and they exposed us. They turned us over, and they scored 38 unanswered points. We have
yeah,
to remember that when things go wrong for the Box, it also goes spectacularly wrong. Right? Like we scored 36 unanswered points against New Zealand in New Zealand, but we also shifted 38 unanswered points against Australia in South Africa.
yeah.
So
That,
there
that
is a balance there.
doesn't it bother you that it's not consistent? Look, in a way, I think it's exciting that other teams are actually challenging the box, and you don't know what to expect. And the fact that the Pumas did so well against the All Blacks, that makes you wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. Honestly, do you have the lineup for tomorrow's game? I know Rassi put it out a few days ago.
Yeah, well, I did on my computer before it crashed, but the main things late change is that Ox and Jay had to pull out with a niggle. I think they shifted Boan Fenter onto the starting lineup just from the bench. But interestingly, instead of putting another prop in, I think they brought Bram van Starten in or something
Yeah.
for a cover at hooker.
No, well,
It's
yeah, for cover, they've got yeah, because Malcolm Marx is obviously still in. You
Yeah, he's
talk,
starting,
you're talking about
but
Marco
instead
van
of
Staden.
yeah, I mean like they're bringing a Marco van Starten in.
I've got it
Did
here.
I say Bram van Starten? I don't know,
Yes,
but
it's Marco.
it's Marco.
Yes.
Yeah, they're bringing van Starten in. A few other interesting selections is with Ampalele Fassi injured still. To see Damian Willemse back at fullback, where he started the World Cup final for us in 2023.
Yeah.
I liked him at inside centre, but we do have a lot of strength in that position where I think we're a bit weak at fullback.
Yeah, see, it's
Right.
a bit.
It's a better fit. He can still counter attack from the back. He's good under the high ball. He's strong. He's a good tackler. Um, where at inside centre we have a world class player anyway in Damien Lendi, and Andre Esterhuizen would have played 50 tests in any other team, so we're strong at inside center.
Yeah, I see. It's a bit is back in on number four. Siya
Yes.
Kolisi is solid at captain, and then yeah, Jasper Wiese managed not to get himself kicked out so far, and then
He works on
Lulu
his
Zulu.
bloody discipline. He makes such a difference when he's in the team.
Oh,
He
he
hits a
is.
front foot ball. He's like a tank.
He's like a wall.
Yeah. So I think we have a nice mix of youth and experience. I think Rassi has got a plan building towards the World Cup in Australia, but he's also still has an eye on winning trophies, which I think is a shift from what we had after 2019 and the World Cup. We were not really seen bothered to win any trophies in between World Cups.
Yeah.
Now, Rassi realizes why not keep the country happy all 4 years, not just every 4 year. 4 years. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think at Durban we don't normally have the best record. I don't know if it's the humidity or people just think about getting on the beach and having a beer. I don't know, but
It's the
it's
curry.
not a place where we play our best rugby normally.
Yeah, it's the curry. Now, do you have any predictions for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the box by 15. I just think the way our set piece has worked. We have now focused on laying a very solid foundation. Sasha FM is back at fly half. We have an exciting backline. I think we learned our lesson by playing it too wide against Australia. Initially, we just kept chucking it around. So I think the game plan against New Zealand showed us the way where Springbok rugby can really go back to its roots. Like there's an old saying in Afrikaans where you mark sag voor, and that's what they did against New Zealand the first half. They just absolutely demolished them in the set piece and the physicality, and that's what gave us the right and the opportunity to go out wide in the second half because they were out on their feet. And I think that's a better tactic for Springbok rugby than just chucking around like it's a sevens game. It doesn't play to our strengths.
Yeah.
Big bruising forward. So I'm going to say the Boks by 15. It's the only time I've been arrogant this whole year in my predictions.
True.
I've been quite conservative and said we'd lose the first test against New Zealand
Well,
and win the second.
they've been calling you. What did the guy say? I've never met a humble South African before. Wow.
Oh,
they
it
don't
was
they don't
just
know
an
you.
act. It was just an act. Absolutely an act. We're not humble in any way after that victory over New Zealand. For so many years, they made us suffer. We can bloody enjoy our moment in the sun. And then I'm going to make a bold prediction and say Australia is going to break the Eden Park hoodoo and beat New Zealand.
Well, I'm hopeful, but I am struggling to believe that. Walter, you have a flight to catch. I'm going to let you go. Just on a personal note, how is your health?
Fantastic. That's why we have medical aid and lots of pills. Heart is fine. Everything's working. And if not, I'll go back to South Africa and get a new heart there.
I,
Somebody's
I,
got
I
to be selling one on the black market there.
I spoke to someone not too long ago on this channel, and she mentioned that the US medical aid is not that great. But I didn't want to speak too much into it because I know you've been singing their praises. Just on that point of view, what do you think?
Fantastic medical care here in the US, top notch facilities and doctors because everybody wants to come and work here because they overcharge you. I mean, it's like, I think this last procedure, aortic dissection, was nearly $400,000. So if you don't have insurance, that
Yeah,
means you're going to rob a bank or go bankrupt.
yeah. Wow. Well,
So
look,
no, I wouldn't recommend it. But then you go to Canada or the UK where it's supposedly free and you're taxed for it, and then you have a waiting line a mile around the corner. So there's no perfect fix for it.
I
I
lived in the
guess.
UK. I must say I was quite impressed with the medical system there. But as I was on a working visa, I still had to pay the fees on it every year. But I remembered, I think it was in a way better than Australia one. But we kind of got used to Australia now, where you have a free system that's you get taxed on every year. But we also have personal or medical aid, which then the two of them work well together, and together it gets stuff done. Like when we had to have surgery once or twice, and it just happens. So it does work. Anyway, on that note, I
Go
think
Bokke.
go
Back to the
book,
point.
go
I'll
book.
see you. I'll see you next week. We can talk about our famous victory or loss. Um,
Yeah, now
and
we last year when we were having this chat, we had Nas Botha on this call as well. He did want to talk as well, but I struggled to pin you down because you're so busy. But yeah, just give me enough notice ahead of time, and I'll give Nas a call, and then we'll arrange it.
yeah, we can talk midweek next week before the final game, the final round of the Rugby Championships, which I believe has been the best one ever. So, yeah, all the best, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.